Good morning, everybody. We're live here from the birdhouse where we have dug ourselves out and we are back to our normal business hours. So today we've got a brief update here on some of the different birds people are seeing in their backyards. As always, we love to know what kind of things you've been seeing, even in that snowy weather. And as always, you can put those sightings in the comments. You can ask questions or you can just say hi. So let's get started. Before the storm, we had been talking about how some of these eruptive birds were making an appearance in the western New York area, including things like pine grosbeak, the evening grosbeak, and some redpoll, some scattered redpoll activity. With everybody being kind of hunkered down, there haven't been any new reports that I've seen of pine grosbeak and evening grosbeak, but they are most likely still out there by the lakeshore if you are interested in going to look for them out at Whiting Road Park out in Webster. As far as redpolls go, the most reports of the redpolls have been along the shore of Lake Ontario. So if you're anywhere over there, be on the lookout at your Niger feeders for the redpoll. And also another bird besides goldfinch that you might see at your Niger feeder are going to be pine siskin. So keep an eye out for both of those. Pine siskin, you're more likely to see than the redpoll, but you never know. They have both been seen around in the area, so keep your eyes open. Also, I thought I'd share this photo with you from last year around this time, just to show you never know what might show up at your feeder. Last winter, around mid-January, Mark, who sends in a lot of photos, had this pine warbler visiting his feeders. So you just never know what kind of hardy birds might be out there, especially with the storm that we just had. There might be some hungry birds out there who are out and looking for food in places they wouldn't normally find it. Here's another picture here of it at his, looks like a flaming hot feast cake. So keep your eyes out. You never know what you might see out there. Definitely lots of reports of chickadee and dark-eyed junco. The dark-eyed junco tend to eat off the ground, but lots of people have been getting them on their bird feeders over the past couple days as we've been getting a lot of snow. There might not be as much food on the ground for them to eat, so you might see them on your feeders. And it's your suet feeders. Suet is a fantastic thing to have out this time of the year. That fat and those calories are important to birds, and so not only can you get a nice big diversity of woodpeckers at your suet feeder, but you might also see things like this white-breasted nuthatch, or the more seasonally abundant in the wintertime red-breasted nuthatch, and even Carolina wren. We've been getting reports of Carolina wren singing quite a bit. So Carolina wren will come to suet feeders. They'll come to sunflower seed feeders or feeders that are providing sunflower hearts or mealworms. So keep an eye out for them. Also, not only might you be getting woodpeckers, like on the left here, this downy woodpecker, but lots of starlings will sometimes start to flock to suet feeders as the temperatures are cooler. And one way to kind of keep that at bay, if you're trying to keep your numbers of starlings down, is to get what's called an upside down suet feeder, where the birds can cling on the underside of it. And so this is good for those clinging birds, things like nuthatches and woodpeckers, even chickadees and titmice. They can cling on the underside of this feeder, but it's hard for things like sparrows and starlings to cling on that. So if you are having your suet feeders overrun by things like the European starling, you can have something like this upside down suet feeder to help keep them at bay. Some photos that were sent in also recently from Mark. Some white-throated sparrow. This is a bird that you can find here during migration time and right now in the winter. So keep an eye out at your feeders and underneath your feeders for the white-throated sparrow. And of course, the tufted titmouse, which love sunflower seed. They love peanut pickouts. If you've got any kind of feeder that has peanut pieces in it, the titmice absolutely love that, as do the black-capped chickadees. They're in the same family as the titmouse, so you'll find that they have similar preferences with their food and dining. And then cardinals, lots of cardinal activity out there. Here's a beautiful female cardinal and a male cardinal. And the birding out there is really good, even in the wintertime. We've talked about the different ducks that are out now, the different birds you can find out in the fields, like the snow buntings and the horned lark. But then birds of prey, Lots of good bird of prey activity out there. Things like Cooper's hawk, you might be getting them in your yard for better or for worse. And still lots of short-eared owl activity. So he didn't say specifically where this was taken, but out down in Avon or in Geneseo, there's been a lot of short-eared owl activity, which has been pretty reliable. So some really cool birds that you can go to see even in the wintertime. So that is our update for today. Not a ton of new things as we go out and explore a little more now that we have all shoveled out. We'll have another broadcast for you on Saturday. So until then, have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.